Welcome to Real Estate with Soul, the podcast where we explore the heart and soul of the real estate industry. I'm your host, Colin Nathan Alim, the real estate boy, and together we'll be diving into the stories and experiences of professionals who are dedicated to serving underserved communities in the real estate industry. So, whether you're a real estate professional, a home buyer, or simply interested in the real estate industry, this podcast is for you. So, join us as we dive into the world of real estate with soul. My special guest today is Drew Smith from Trinity Solutions USA. Welcome to the podcast, Drew.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the opportunity.
Listen, man, always good to have you, man. Listen, Drew is a credit specialist. He's been in the game for a minute, but Drew, why don't you tell us about your background, man, and how you got the credit?
My background and how I got the credit, oh man, that's a long and winding story, brother. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, no, about 20 years ago, I started out as a collector, man. I was the
Okay.
bad guy on the other end of the phone chasing people down for their debts. And I tell you what, I was very good at it. Everything from small accounts, repossessions, whatever it was, I was good at getting it. And then, as you mature, you go from being the little guy in the desk to the manager. At one point in time, I was blessed to own my own agency. So I learned a lot of information being on that side of the fence. Okay. I got a little old. I can't fight anymore. So I decided to be a nice guy and and help out the community. No, I'm kidding. I started negotiating for people to help them out of some debts and realized, it's better to be a good person on this side of the fence than chase them around. So last 8 years, we've been helping getting people into a lot of homes, putting a lot of cars in driveways, and helping to send a lot of kids to college.
Nice. Well, today we're gonna focus on home buyers, okay? Because of course I'm a real estate agent, and on March 9th, we're having the Ultimate Home Buyer Masterclass. It's going down in Northern Liberties. If you haven't RSVP'd, make sure you RSVP. Everybody's gonna leave with a customized home buying blueprint, okay? You just need to go to www.buyinginphilly.com to RSVP. Again, that's www.buyinginphilly.com. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to ask Drew. There's 10 questions. Okay, there's 10 questions that home buyers should ask a credit repair specialist. Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna
All
throw
right.
these questions at Drew because I had one of our lender partners on who's going to be down at the home buyers masterclass, and I asked her what's the biggest thing or what are the biggest things, the two biggest things that a person that determines a person getting a loan or not.
Mhm.
First thing that came out of his mouth was what? Credit score.
Of course.
That's the first thing that came out of his mouth was credit score. And me dealing with buyers all day, that's usually the thing that blocks people is credit score because your credit can't be turned around in a day because it didn't get there in a day. So it can't be turned
Mhm.
around in a day. It's like that's you. Okay. So it's super duper important that if you're looking to break that generational curse of
Mhm.
renting all the time and you want to get into a home, that the key, if I would say the key to that car is your credit score. Because
Mhm.
without it, they're not talking to you. You can't dance around a credit score. You can have
Mhm.
$1 billion. But if your credit score is 400, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be
Exactly.
tough, man. So let's jump right into it, man. The first question that the people have for you, Drew, is what specific actions will you take to improve a person's credit score? I know that's a broad question, but that's what they ask.
Well, that's how you start. You got to start in the beginning. So let's start at the beginning.
All right.
First thing that we do with everybody, I'm an old guy, so I do things in old fashioned. I believe if you know better, what's the old analogy? You knew better, you do better. First thing we do is I'm big on education. All right. The vast majority of the accounts that come through to me speak with me.
Mm,
All right. And we pull your credit report and we have a good old fashioned conversation. All right. I'm not about shuffling papers and this, that, and the other thing. You have to know why you're here so that you never wind up back here again. And then we're going to
mm,
explain to you how and why credit works so that you know, all right, how to adjust your walk. You know how to walk in this world, so to speak. All right. You'll know the pillars of credit. You'll know how it affects your daily life. And once you know that, now you'll know how to act accordingly moving forward. We're going to tell you how to work on your credit balance. We'll help you with a budget if need be. All right, that's a big thing. All right. Sometimes people don't have credit problems; they have cash problems. All right. We identify all that from the beginning. Okay, and that way we can tell exactly how we can help them. Right. So it was a broad question. That's a broad answer, but you know, whatever's necessary, the first thing comes with the education, and that's the first thing that we give you. I think that's what sets us apart.
It is, well, moving with knowledge, because learning
There you go.
about credit is habits. It's different
Hmm.
spending habits that you have. And but how do you know, okay, there's a statement date and a due date? A lot of people don't know that those are two
Hmm.
different things.
That's right.
So if you knew that, then you would do better in knowing that, okay, on this particular date, the credit card snitches on me to the credit bureaus. Okay, so I really need to have my mortgage or my whatever, my debt down on that particular day.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. I
So
prefer to say they take a snapshot, but snitching on you works too. Yeah, that's exactly what
yes,
it
they
is.
do. Yes, they snitch on you, man. So let's jump into the second question, man. The second
Mm.
question is, how do you determine which items on the credit report should be disputed or negotiated?
Okay. Perfect. That's a great question because that's one of the things we focus on. Pay for deletes. All right. I'll go back to my old days. All right. Like we said, there's a lot of great information out there on the internet. Some of it is a little so-so. The fact that everybody would believe that there's a magic letter out there, just send this and it magically falls off your report. If that was true, we'd all have 850 credit scores, and they do something else to try and put us in a box. Um, We'll find out the difference between whether you dispute it or pay it. I'm a huge believer in give back to Caesar that which owes to Caesar. You know what I mean, if you owe the money legitimately, we're going to figure out a way of getting it a way that you can pay it so that it no longer hurts you. We do that by the first thing we'll do is we'll contact your lender. What a surprise. We call the people. All right. And we find out if they have the background on the account, can they prove the debt? In the instance that they can, now we start talking numbers. Everyone is willing to talk numbers with you. Okay. That's what they're there to do. They're bill collectors. They want money. They want numbers. Well,
Right.
you have the power before you pay them. They want you to think it's the other way around. No, you have the power before you pay them. They want your money. Okay. So you have the ability to say, well, listen, I owe you $1,000. This has been years old. I'll tell you what, I'll give you five or whatever number we agreed to. But in order for me to give that to you, here's what I need in exchange. I'm not going to give you my money without getting what I want in return. Do you delete these accounts? How are you going to report this on my credit report? If it's a situation, a lot of the big, and I'll give you some free game, a lot of the big debt buyers, Portfolio Recovery, Midland Financial, they're the guys that buy up all your credit cards after 2 or 3 years. I'm going to give you a big secret. They'll delete. You just have to argue back and forth to get the right number. Okay.
Mm.
If they're going to delete the file in exchange for a fair amount, what's the problem?
Why not?
You pay them, the account's gone off your credit report within 30 to 45 days. You get the score boost you want, move on in your life. Now, if you talk to them and they don't agree to do that, because some agencies don't, well, now that's something that now we have to start going back to the law and start looking at some ways to dispute the accuracy of the accounts. Okay. We can never argue whether or not you did it or not. You did it. You know you did it. But we can argue over whether or not they're reporting that information properly and correctly about you. If we find an error and a flaw there, now we can argue that they're doing the wrong thing and that account needs to be removed from your credit report. Okay. Now, something to remember, just because it's not on your credit report doesn't mean you don't owe it. But,
Mm.
now you can negotiate more on an area of strength because it's not reporting on your credit report anymore. Now you can negotiate a little bit stronger when you go down the pike with it. Okay.
Yo, I see. I mean, I think the underlying thing that you're saying, I think a lot of people miss is that there's another person on the other side. So it's not just a number, like you said. A lot of times, most of the time, it's on your credit report. You probably owe it in some way, shape, or form.
Hmm.
Okay. So let's go with the route, like you said, of okay, trying to pay it, or maybe just trying to come down a little bit. And I did that back
Hmm.
when I had bad credit. I mean, this was over 20 years ago. I'll tell a quick story. When I was in college, okay, um, it was five roommates, okay, and one of those roommates is what a guy that me and you know. Five
Hmm.
roommates, okay. Nobody paid their rent except for me and another guy. It wasn't that guy that you know,
Okay.
but me and another guy. We paid our rent every. It was maybe our rent was maybe like $80 a month or something like
Hmm.
that. We lived. This is in college, so we paid, and the guy made it seem like it was separate. So he would always come to each individual like, "Hey, you got my money, you got my money, you got my money," and me
Hmm.
and my buddy kept paying him all the time, but the other three never paid. So then when we're about to graduate, the guy takes us all to court. And the judge, small town, and the
Hmm.
judge even said, "Hey, I recognize that." And the only people that showed up for court was me and the other guy that paid and
Okay.
another guy. And the judge said, I recognize that y'all paid, but the contract says, I forgot what the contract says, but it said where everybody's responsible for the rent.
Hmm.
And they put that on my credit.
Hmm.
And I had terrible credit for like 7 years. I said, listen, I'm not paying that. I am not paying this. I,
Okay.
I am not paying that. That's not mine. I paid. I mean, it was about the principalities of
I
the
dig it.
situation. It was about the principle. Um, but I'm saying this to say that when I was cleaning up my credit, I had some other things on there, and I called the creditor, and it was like, "Hey, listen, I'm about to file bankruptcy. Um, so listen, I'll settle with y'all. It was maybe 30 cents on a dollar, 40 cents on a
Hmm.
dollar, forgot the exact amount, and they went for it. And they went and um, I asked them to delete it, and they deleted it, and that was it.
There you go. You hit on one of the. You're giving away too much sauce now, but you hit on one of the things. No collector wants to hear the threat of bankruptcy.
Yes.
I've got no collector wants to hear I'm leaving the country. This is it. It's your last ditch. You can take it or you can not take it. But I'm not going to be
Right.
here. Divorce. I don't want to get into. There's a million and one different stories.
Right.
And like you said, there is somebody else on the other end of the phone that wants that money.
Yes.
Collections is a commission business. Okay.
Mm,
When those phones ring, they're trained to see dollar signs come out of the other side of it. Okay.
okay.
You got to understand that. And then you can negotiate accordingly. All right. I'm not going to say you'll get a better deal at the end of the month than you will at the beginning of the month. You know what? You will.
Mm,
You know, there are certain things. And if you just happen to know who to call, when to call, you get a different amount depending on who you get on the phone. It's just knowing who to do and or who to do, who to call, and so on and so forth. That's all. You know, as far as dealing with the pay for delete aspect of it. Some of them won't do it. But when you have one that you know that will, you just have to know it's a little bit of an art form to know exactly how and where to get the number you want, but you can get the number you want. Very simple.
and see, that's the great thing about dealing with a professional, because you're getting right to it. Now you can spend time, you can spend your time, but in most cases you're either going to spend what? Your money or your time.
There you go.
And dealing with credit, I always tell people you can do it yourself,
Hmm.
but you're going to spend that time in doing it, bumping your head versus using somebody like this is what they do. And a lot of individuals, their issue is accountability. So they'll say, "Oh yeah, I'll do it," but they're not going to look into, okay, what
Hmm.
letters to write, who does it need to be sent to, and now I
Hmm.
got to follow up on it. They're just not going to do
Hmm.
it.
It's
So
real tedious, brother. It's real tedious. There's a lot of software. There's a lot of desks over there that are following up on that for people. All right. I'm a firm believer. I'm going to be the one, credit repair guy that'll tell you this. You can do credit repair yourself. Every single credit repair person was their first client. How about
mm,
that? Okay. That's how you learn. All right. but it's a long hike sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of following up and it's a lot of dedication. I'd rather see you take that dedication towards fixing your, towards fixing your budget, towards making the short-term sacrifices to get to the long-term goals. Let me deal with the sending a letter every 32 days. Let me deal with yelling at John Bill Collector, all right, to get him down for you. That's what I'm here to do. All right. That's my service.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right. Well, let's jump to this third question. The third
Come on.
question is, can you provide a realistic timeline for when I might see improvements in my credit score once a person starts using your services?
Yes and no. I just had a fella, matter of fact, I was worried about this call. I was worried about this video because I had a walk-in that came in at 6:40. And I was like, oh man, I got to talk to my brother Khalid. But you know what? Come on. I'm here for the community. If the community wants to come in now, let's go. Let's talk. We ran through his credit report. His only problem was he had one credit card. All right. I can't obviously give names, but he owed $600. It's nothing. But he was late on it a little bit. They dropped his limit down to 200. Now he's showing that he's 190% utilization. Well, brother, that's
Mm,
killing you. That's like 190 points that just got knocked off your score. Well, how do I fix it? When will it happen? Brother, can you give these people their $600 on Friday? Yes, I can. All right. Your statement date, and I'm glad you said statement date. You sat there and we went on it. Your statement date is the third. If you can make every possible attempt to pay this balance ASAP, if you can get that balance down, you're going to have a heck of a surprise when you wake up on the fourth. Okay. Now, can I say that it'll take 1 week for it to happen? In that case, yes, I can guarantee it. 1 week, that card's going to report at zero. His score is going to go up, and boom, he's going to be a happy guy in a week. Okay. If it's a situation where we're doing a pay for delete, I know everything takes 30 days in order for it to go if they do what they're supposed to do on their end. So, can I realistically say if you pay this settlement off on the first, when I pull your credit report on the 1st of April, will it be gone? Yeah, I can realistically say, yeah, yeah, with fair whatever. I can say, yeah, I'm a betting man. I'll take that bet. If it's a situation where there's no money being paid and there's no credit card payment being made, and it's just we're going to dispute this file, and it's just all paper, there's no one that can guarantee you the time frame on something like that because you're depending on the credit bureaus reading it, you're depending on the credit bureaus agreeing with it, you're depending on a collection agency guy getting it and not throwing away like I know some that did. Okay.
oh,
So
wow.
there's no one that can guarantee that aspect of it. If it's something where you're cutting a check and paying, you can have someone give you a reasonable statement of the time frame. Okay. So that answers the question. It's yes and no, depending on the way that you're going about fighting the debt.
All right, makes sense. Makes sense. Again, for you guys who are on TikTok or who are on Instagram, what and you could maybe you couldn't hear Drew when I asked him as far as okay, is there a timeline that you can give me? It's kind of yes or no. It depends on the situation. Okay, it depends on the situation. But on March 9th, um, the Ultimate Home Buying Masterclass, Drew's going to be there. And one
Mhm.
of the section I'm talking about budgeting, and I'm talking about credit also. And I'm going to have Drew there to talk about these particular subjects in depth. So you definitely want to be there so if you do have some one-off questions, you can ask Drew right then and there. Okay. So again, just go to www.buyinginphilly.com. Again, www.buyinginphilly.com. You're going to get some credit tips, little things that you can do to boost your score. We're going to have home inspection tips. We're going to have down payment assistance explained. You can get your insurances reviewed if you think you're paying too much for insurance, and we're also doing pre-approvals on the spot. On the spot, okay? And again, everybody's going to leave with a customized home buying blueprint, okay? So let's go to number 4, okay? Number 4 is what are the costs involved in your services and how are they structured?
Okay. Good question. Again, everything always says it always depends. It always depends. Example, fella came in today. What did I charge him? Nothing. He got a good bit of advice for a $1 credit pull. I made his day, and he'll be a very happy guy. Those are the best calls, to be honest with you. If it's a situation where I pull your credit report and I look and I say, all right, you just need me to yell at Midland for you and portfolio recovery. Okay, I know 100% that these are going to be deletions. I'm going to ask you, and I'll tell everybody that walks in, how quick is this going to be? It depends on you.
Mm,
If you're telling me you have $1 million in your back pocket right now and you just need me to negotiate for you and get this deal done, it's a one shot deal. You're going to pay a negotiation fee. Are you a veteran? I'll knock something off. Are you substitute? I'll knock something off. Is it a family deal? Guess what? I'll say something funny. Don't sleep next to bad credit because it rubs off. Bring your wife in with you. Okay. Get everybody done together. I do family deals for people. I make everything fair. My average for an average just negotiate is 229. My job is to make sure that I save you way more than 229. Okay. If it's a situation where there's no real money there, Drew, I just need you to start working on this because, and I know I'm getting myself together. I'm not buying a house tomorrow, but 6 months from now, 8 months from now, I just want to, I need you to get started on this. I don't have the money just yet. I'm still working on me, but I want you to start. Have a different program for that. Okay. I'll just get you going at $99 a month. What that's going to do is that's going to have me, I'm going to start arguing with these people. I'll yell and I'll get all the disputes situated for you, and we're going to letter them to death. We're going to try and catch them in something. And it's just going to be a small payment each month. It still gives you access to me. We still have processing things going on, but that's going to be a situation if you're not able to handle things ASAP. All right. I've got a small contingent of people that are on that. I even have some people that are doing DIY work. I'll say, hey, listen, here's the information. Have at it.
mm.
You know, we do that stuff too. Whatever it is, I'll meet you where you are and for what type of work you need. Okay.
Okay. So my man Pat on here, he's asking 229 per month.
No, 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 no. That's if we're talking about the one time, one hitter, the one hitter quitter package, I'll say. No.
The
We're
one
talking
hitter
about the
quitter. Okay.
negotiation package. That's it. That's 229. That buys our time as far as to get all your numbers in a row. You're going to get something saying, okay, portfolio says they'll settle with you for this. These guys say they'll settle with you for this. These guys will settle with you for this. These guys will delete for that.
Mhm.
Call me with it. Here's what you got to do. Call John, call Jim, call Fred. I'll give all that information to you. All right. All you have to do is pay 'em. When you pay them, they're going to give you a confirmation number. Give me that confirmation number. I handle the rest. Okay. That's if you're in a position where you've got it. You just got your tax refund. You don't want to just throw your money away and not, get what you want back. All right.
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you right now, I hate the month of April. And I'm going to tell you why. Because people, even before I had the walk-in office, April, I would get all kind of calls. People took the tax money, they did the right thing morally, and they paid off a bunch of collection people, and they're wondering why their scores didn't go anywhere. All right, you took all that money that you've been waiting on for months, Mr. Drew. I paid off that car. I don't know why my score didn't go anywhere. Well, because when you paid off that car, you didn't get an agreement that they were going to delete. So they took your money. They said paid. It's a paid collection. It's a zero balance.
Oh,
They did exactly what
right,
they said. You did the
right.
right thing morally, but you didn't get what you were really looking for. Were you looking to do the right thing or were you looking for your score to go up? That's why
Right.
you want to go to a pro before you start cutting checks to people because you want to make sure that the money that you're spending is going to do what you want it to do, you know?
And
And
in
it
this,
happens every year,
right, right. And in this day and time, man, everybody pulls credit. Everybody's looking at your credit. Um,
everywhere.
what when I'm talking to people, I try to get them to understand is okay, credit repair isn't $5. Okay, it's not gonna be $5 or $20. Okay, but the money that you're going to save in the long run, it's
Hmm.
always super cheap. It's always super cheap because they make you pay out the wazoo if you got bad credit. And you got people
Hmm.
out there who prey on people that have bad credit. They can't wait for
Hmm.
somebody to walk in. All these car dealerships, hey, come in. Doesn't matter if you got a 400, just come in and you'll be driving with something. They can't wait for somebody to come in that got a bad credit score. so they can run the bag up. And
Right.
if you don't pay them, they just come and repo your car.
And do it again to the next one. You know, what did they say? I've seen Rovers delivered with ribbons. I've seen them repoed, resold, and redriven. You know, yeah, man, I hear you. Here's what I like people to know. They give you the answer. It's so crazy, brother. They give you the answer and the definition of things. They hide the answers in the plain sight for you. The definition of credit is access, access to goods and services without paying up, well, being able to pay for it later. Access. All right. Your credit score is your access to everything. Okay. And that's what folks don't know. Your access to your credit score determines where you're going to live. Okay. What what interest rate you're going to pay for where you live, what kind of car you're going to park in front of where you live. All right.
Right,
You know where you live kind of determines almost determines where. I'm not even going to get into it. If or when your kids go to school, what your insurance rates are. Your insurance rates. That's one of the
right,
things I do for people when they graduate. I send them over to another insurance agent. Why? Because now that your score is higher, you're less risky. That's all your
right,
credit score is, a measure of risk. The less
right,
risky you are, the cheaper everything you want to get is. Okay?
right,
By opening this door, by getting that access, raising your score, you're going to improve every facet. Every facet. I can't think of something where credit isn't useful. Okay, so hold on one sec. Hey, we're closed, my friend. Okay, guess what? I actually have to let some. Can you hold 1 second? Let me do this. I have to open up this part as far as to get pick up
Sure,
something from
sure,
someone.
sure, sure.
1 second.
Do,
10 seconds.
do your thing. Do your thing. Yeah, I mean, a little known fact about me, I used to do some credit repair back in the day. I just put my feet in it. And one of the things that people don't understand, and I'll explain this real fast while Drew's doing something, is your credit utilization. That's one of the biggest fact. That's the second biggest factor in your credit score is credit utilization. Okay, and what that means is that if your credit limit is $1,000 and you use $500 of it, you have 50%. So
Mhm.
where they want you to be is 30% or less. It needs to be at 30% or less for it not to hurt your credit score. But while you were going, just was breaking down the credit utilization real fast because a lot of people
Right,
don't understand the concept, nor do they know how to utilize that credit utilization.
right, exactly. Normally, I'll be honest with you. When you're house hunting, I like to see it 10% or under. The sweet pot is really 3%. But I'm not going to have people pulling calculators out trying to figure 3% of their things out. We just say get 10% under, and normally you're good money. So we had to pick up
Right, right, right.
rent package. There it is. So I couldn't let my man stay outside in the rain. Um, where
All
were we,
good.
man? I know we were talking about access. Every time I get into that, I go off on a tangent, man, because it's so important. It's so vital for people to know. If that's the only thing I get across to them, man, if they get that, that's going to put them
It's
in such a
access.
better place, brother. Such a better place.
Access, man. Credit, and again, for those who maybe didn't hear him, good credit is access. You don't get access. And at the top of the show, when I talked about when I asked the mortgage lender about what factor, what's the biggest determinant of a person's whether a person gets a mortgage or not, and it's credit. With credit, you can't you there's no access. Like Drew said, there's no access without credit, man. But let me move to the fifth question. The fifth question is how will you keep me, or not me or the person, how will you keep me informed about charge changes to my credit report and score?
Good question. Good question. Well, first and foremost, every once a month, you're going to speak with either myself or one of the people. All right. So every month you get a big old long, hey, how you doing? Blah 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 conversation. Well, what about during the middle of the week? Well, yeah, that's a great question. Everyone has. If you're part of the program with me, I set you up with a credit monitoring service. All right. You'll get smart credit. You'll get identity IQ. One of those, so that you're always. And I'm telling you, you put it right on your phone. Put it right on your on your face page because insight in mind. All right. These servers will, anytime that there's any type of a raise or a drop in your score, it's sending you a text message. Hey, 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 something's going on. Something bad happened. Something good happened. Okay. Plus, you're constantly, I pay a lot of money. I won't go into it, but a lot of money for software. so that it's constantly touching you every couple of days. You'll get sick of me. No, I'm just kidding. You're not going to get sick of me. But no, but communication is the biggest thing. All right. Plus, certain levels of clients have my direct cell number. All right. If you ever see me look like this, it's because I've had a client that's actually texting me about something. All right. I'm very, very, very hands on with my people. Um, but to answer the question in a very specific fashion, you'll always be able to get updates through the app that we'll give you. A lot of times I love Smart Credit because it lets you refresh your score 15 times a month if you want to. You'll drive yourself crazy doing it, but you can do that. Identity IQ, I will email you anytime there's any type of a change to your score. All right.
Right.
So that's why we use them. I email me, email you, so we know that there's a change, so that we can follow up on things. Okay. So you'll always know where your score is. Nobody's ever lost in the sauce, so to speak.
Gotcha, gotcha. And again, you can come down on March 9th to the Ultimate Home Buying Masterclass where Drew will be. And he
Hmm.
can go over your credit score. If you bring your credit score down or you bring the report down, then he can kind of go over with you and kind of see what you need to do in order to buy a home. Because again,
Hmm.
one of the big factors into getting into a home is your credit, man. Let me
Hmm.
jump to number six. Number six is what can I do on my own to support the credit repair process?
Okay. Stay the course. And what I mean by stay the course is on our first phone call, I'm going to lay out everything that you need to do A, B, C, D, F, G, so on and so forth. The best thing you can do to support it is A, make sure you keep your credit cards down. That's huge. That's the first thing. B, get all your bills on auto pay. God forbid you sit there and mess up, get a 30-day late while I'm in the middle of stuff and ruin what I'm doing. No, I'm just kidding. No, but pay your bills on time. Auto pay is the best way because that way you're not even thinking about it. Okay. Mr. Drew, I don't know. Sometimes I might not know if the money's going to be in the bank. The $30 that you're going to get for an NSF is way easier to fix than the 30 points you're going to lose by having a late payment. Okay.
Mm,
Use auto pay to your benefit. Okay.
mm,
Those are the one, two things that I'll tell everybody to do. Don't go out and go buying some glorified. Do not go car shopping with your tax refund. If I get to say, whoever's in the reach of this right now, do not go out there car shopping unless you do it a specific way. I'll share a story with you. We were together earlier today. We were doing the lunch and learn. During the lunch and learn, I received two calls or two text messages. Both of them, people that are in the program, both of them saw their scores starting to go up. Both of them got their tax refunds. Both of them want to go out and get a car. I have to tell both of them, think of the short term, s- stay tight on the short term. Look at the long term. You want a house. You don't want a car. Okay.
right.
Thank goodness both of them also happen to be with Navy Federal. So if you're in a position, I'll give a little free something to you. If you're in a spot right now, I know that money's burning a hole in your pocket. I know you want to get a new
Right.
ride. Okay. Here's what you do. Do not go to Bob's auto dealer and let him just randomly put 30 inquiries on your credit report. I
Mm,
know they will. Your score's not great. I've seen it and I know what happened. All 30 inquiries all on the same day. All right. If you are part of a credit union, all right, everybody's not part of Navy Federal, but if you are, great. If you're part of police and fire, I'm right across from the Polish and Slavic Legion, whatever, get with a credit union. Go in, get a pre approval. Both of the people I talked with today, I said, go on it. You can do it online. Get a pre-approval about how much do you need? 20? Say 20 grand. Great. They're not going to want to walk it out a ton. So go no more than 4 years. Text me back, let me know what happened. Drew, the pro knows what to do. I know. So both of them got approved. Both of them are very happy. And they'll both walk in with a check with just one inquiry. All right. That's what you don't want to have 30 inquiries show up. One inquiry we can work with. All right. 30 inquiries is going to knock your score down and make you look very, very thirsty for credit. And that's going to down about 10, because 10% of your credit score is based off of new credit or inquiries.
right.
Why drop your score 10%? Possibly because you want to get a 2016 something or other. Do things the right way, and we'll get you where you need to be. All right. But yeah, that's watch the inquiries, please. That's all.
Listen, true story, true story. Yesterday. Well, I was looking for a car. Quick story.
Hmm.
My engine went out. Still owe a bunch of money on the car, but the engine
What?
went out. What you gonna do?
Okay.
So I need to get a car. So I went to my credit union. I'm with
Hmm.
Digital Credit Union.
DFCU.
So
Yep.
I'm with DCU, right?
Hmm.
DCU.
I thought it
Yep.
was DFCU, but whatever. Yeah.
So I'm with them. And I have my first loan is with them. So I said, all right, well, let me get this second loan with them. So I got pre-approved, drove all the way up to New Jersey,
Hmm.
and sat down with the guy. And of course, they're not making any money off of it. So they're trying to be sticklers because they're not making. He's like, oh well, we can run your. I mean, I know you have your own money, but we can run your credit and see, and we'll try to lower the price some more. I was like, what? And get 30 inquiries on, and I know that you can't beat the credit union. But you want me to run my credit so you can
Hmm.
put 30 inquiries on there and then come back and
Hmm.
tell me, oh, we can't beat them. No, I'm good. I got my own money. Let's proceed.
Exactly. Absolutely not. Yep.
Right. So
Negotiate the
it was
price before you tell them that you're going to do it. You did it right. You're a smart guy. You know what to do. But
right.
yeah, it's
So,
scandalous, man.
oh man, crazy, crazy. But all right, man, let's get into the seventh question. The seventh question is, do you offer any guarantees on the results of the credit repair services?
Okay. Actually, yes, I do. It's extremely rare that we ever had to go through it, but yeah, we do. If it's a situation where I draw up a plan for you and you march through, I draw up the play and you run it and there's no scoring, there's nothing I can do. I'm not going to
Mm,
take your money if I didn't do anything for you. I have a 90-day money back guarantee. Okay. Now, when I told you to pay down your cards, did you pay them down? When I
mm,
told you don't incur any other further debt, did you go out and go shopping? When I
mm,
told you, here, do this pay for delete, did you say, I don't really want to pay them? I'm standing on principle. If you follow direction, you're going to see the results. Okay.
right.
If by some ungodly reason you go through everything and it's still, and there's no points, yeah, I haven't done anything for you. I'm a man of my word. I'm going to give it back to you. Your name is all you have in this industry. But as I said, in since the beginning here, we haven't had to see that happen because thank God, knock on wood or whatever you want to do. When you follow directions, you get the results.
Mm, got you. And I
Hmm.
know a lot of people have trouble following the directions, but you follow the directions, you follow
Just
the
follow the
roadmap,
directions, bro.
you follow the
I make
roadmap
credit
to get
easy,
to the
man. I make
end.
it easy.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Well, let's move on to number eight. Number eight is how does your credit repair service differ from others?
Okay. I think I might have touched on it a little bit. I've
Right.
done this for a while, and I'm going to tell you there's something that's kind of interesting. All the credit repair, the bigger companies, I'll put it like that. I'm sure everybody's aunt and uncle does credit repair, but when you have a company in a relatively decent size, we all kind of know each other. We go to the same conventions. I can tell you the three biggest ones in the area. I've probably hung out with them, or I mean, I won't go too deep into it, but we know each other, so we know how they work. How do I put it nicely? I've made my money being the bad guy. All right. So I made my money on that side of the fence. So I'm not trying to grab every nickel, diamond, penny on this side of the fence, if that makes sense. I don't like letter mills. And what I mean by letter mills is I can't name names. I don't want anybody suing me for what I got, but letter mills are the companies that, okay, we got it. We're just going to send these letters out here, there, and the other thing. And no one's bothering to pick up a phone and actually calling to
Mm,
try and negotiate for you. That's the first thing that I do. That's our strength. All right. I do not shy away from my past at all. I'm an old collector, a speak collector, and I know how speaking collector can help you.
wow.
So the first thing we're going to do is get on the phone and try and talk some numbers with these guys. All right, we're gonna say, can you prove it? Do you have this? How old is the debt? Statute of limitations. We'll go through all of that. But then we're going to get down to talking about money. We're not the YouTube guys that are going to say, send this, and I'm going to grab the big book of UFC codes, and we're going to do this, and we're
Right.
going to trap them with that. No, you need to get something done. We're going to do it the old fashioned way. We're going to actually negotiate. We're going to get it removed so it doesn't pop back up 3 months from now in another name. Because that's what happens.
Mm,
You negotiate something out by the grace of God. You say, hey, this the magic letter worked. Great. You know what happens? It didn't happen because that letter worked. I just got tired of dealing with you as the collector. So we closed your
wow.
account down and sent you back to the original creditor. When I close your account down and send you back to the original creditor, I can't be listed on your credit report anymore, can I? Nope. So it looks like the account disappeared. You're happy. Great. Well, what happens in 3 months when the original creditor is not happy that they don't have their money and sends you over to another credit repair place or another creditor place? Now it pops back up on your credit report again under a different name. Now it's a slightly higher this time. And now you got to start the process all over again. Why? Negotiate, take care of it the first time, and know that you're free in the future. You don't have to worry about it popping back up at the wrong time. That I think is the difference between me and other agencies. I'm not listing on some magic letter to save the day. We're going to the root of the problem, getting you cleared up and negotiating you out of your contract so you can walk with your head held high. You get your second chance. That's what we do.
Wow. I never knew that they could send it back to the original
Oh,
creditor.
all the time. All the time.
Wow. Wow. And does it restart when they send it back and then they send it back to another creditor?
Okay. When something like that happens, here's what I'll tell you. When you get older debts, try not to snitch on people. When you have accounts, all right, and they get to a certain age, all right, every state has statute of limitations. All right, statute of limitations, how long they can go, up to a certain amount of years they can sue you on. All right. Example, North Carolina. If you ever want to not pay something, move to North Carolina. It's 3 year statute of limitations. You duck and dodge for 3 years, they can't sue you. They can leave it on your credit report for up to 7 years, but it's zombie paper at that point. There's nothing they can physically do to you. All right.
Mm,
Jersey, 6 years, PA, different things. But anyway, as accounts get closer to that statute of limitations time, you know what they do? They sell them. They'll sell them for pennies on the dollar, 6 cents on the dollar, whatever the heck it is. Why? Because your original creditor doesn't want to bother around with it anymore. Their job's to give out money. It's not to get money back. All right. So they'll sell it to these debt buyers. And the debt buyers will sit there and they say, all right, I've got 6 cents invested in this. Let's figure it out. All right. They'll send you a letter. You might get one phone call. They might throw you on a dialer or something. And they're just going to wait until you want to change your life. And then you wind up calling them. I call them for you. All right. They're not going to invest a lot of time and money into them. Okay.
okay.
Once that happens, great. Negotiations happen. You pay it, you don't pay it, whatever happens. But if a certain amount of time goes by and you don't call them, are they going to just sit on that investment? No. They're going to sell it down the line to somebody for 5 cents on the dollar. All right.
Oh
We
wow.
took a little loss on that one. Oh, well. All right. They're not going to sit on your account forever. That's why you may see items, even if you don't do anything to your accounts. You'll see old accounts pop on and disappear, and then pop back on again. You're like, where'd that come from? Well, it's not done yet. It's still within the statute of limitations. They're going to keep buying and selling the account. Sometimes they'll keep buying and selling it even after statute of limitations. Because every time they buy the account, when you look on a credit report, the date that's shown on there is not the date or not the date, the last date you paid it, but the date that they bought it. Okay. So that's the way that they hide that date. There's a lot of trickery. I won't say trickery. There's a lot of trickery that goes on in it. So you got to know how to, you got to know how it's being done. All right. Paying the accounts is the best, easiest way. If it's a pay for delete is my favorite tool to clear up reports. It's over, it's done, it's quick, and you never have an issue with it ever again. Okay.
Sound
Simple.
advice,
All
man.
right.
Sound advice. Sound
Yeah. There's
advice.
more to it. You go by years and all that type of stuff too. Like if it's 6 years old, I'm not going to have you do anything. You're going to sit on your hands for another couple of months and wait for it to fall off. But if it's something relatively recent and you have a chance to get rid of it for a fraction of what you actually got, all for it. That's where I go with it.
Gotcha. Sound advice, man. Sound
Mhm.
advice, man. I hope you got your pens and paper because that's great advice, man. Number nine is What happens if disputes are unsuccessful? Is there a follow-up process?
Yes. Okay. Let's assume that we're not. It's an account that we can't pay for delete, and it's something where you know it's just an account, and you're like, all right, well, I can't pay it, so we're gonna have to fight it this way. All right. You disputed it once. You disputed it twice. It's still sitting on your credit report. Account under dispute. I'm going to tell you what to say. Account under dispute. FCRA was finds it's okay. All right, fine. Well, the only way that you can really fight them after that, it depends on how you've been disputing. If you've been disputing at I'm a big fan of factual disputing. There's a million and one different types of disputing. Brother, we don't have the time. Come out on the ninth. I'll go through some of them with you. But
There we go.
factual disputing is what I like to do. All right. Because you can't argue it. A lot of these companies will start out with, I don't know what this is. You know what it is. I don't know what this is. This account balance is unfamiliar to me. These account numbers are not, you laugh because you've seen it, you've heard it before. And that's very, very easy for them to figure out and get past. Well, here's this. All right. Well, now you know it. Now what?
Hmm.
If it's a situation where if I do factual disputing lends, it makes its own little path on how things work. You dispute that this is not correct. First thing, verify this account. Is everything on my credit report correct? You give them 30 days to send you something saying, yes, everything's on my credit report's correct. A lot of times they won't do that. All right. What they're supposed to do is send you a full copy of your credit report saying, yes, here's your credit report. All right. Once they do that, now they're not allowed to kind of go back on their word. What they said on there is what they said. This is what now is considered fact. Well, if this is considered fact, there's only one real law that really kind of helps us in credit repair. That's the FCRA. It says everything on, and I'll paraphrase it, but everything on your credit report has to be 100% accurate, has to be 100% provable, and has to be consistent. All right.
Wow.
Well, the first thing that I sent you, you said this is the truth, right? Okay. Well, now I have this, and I have this. Why does this date not match up with this date? Why does this amount not match up with that amount? Why does this status? Why do you say that it's in charge off and this guy says it's late 120 days? You pick apart the issues. Okay. Once you have them set up, and then you say, well, you didn't, this doesn't match. Here's my problem. Now you got to fix it or delete it. If they don't respond to that, you have the ability of going one level higher. Okay. And that's when we will do what's called a excuse me, we'll send a dispute into the FCRA. We do that online and say, hey, listen, I sent in a dispute. I followed up with that, and they did not do it. They didn't do anything about it. It's like telling the teacher when you were in school. Okay. Now they have to go and they have to investigate. And do you know what a
Hmm.
collection agency doesn't like to see? They don't like to see those complaints. So now all of a sudden you'll get a ton of information back. Okay. A ton of information. And that's how you can kind of force a deletion. All right. Does it work? Do we have to do it on every account? Of course not. If it's a situation where time is of the essence, or it's a situation where it's legitimately a fraud account, like this, we're standing around. We really weren't late. Like we know that we're 100% on this. Then yeah, we'll take that route, and we'll file with that agency, and that usually we find success for our clients that way. Okay. Normally, it's not a everyday occurrence, but when it needs to be done, it works.
All right, man. Cool, cool, man.
Yeah.
A
So
lot of
there is,
information.
yeah, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it.
A lot of information, man. All right, we're gonna wrap. This is the last question, man. Number 10. After my credit score improves, what advice do you offer to maintain it?
Don't mess up. No, I'm just kidding. Um, Normally, hopefully, when by the time your credit report is, or by the time your credit score is good, we've talked for a while, or you and my staff, we've built a relationship. You're going to know what the five pillars of your credit are, and you're going to know how to act accordingly. Okay. I don't care what you are, who you are. There's five pillars that hold up your report. And that's once you know how many points you get for each little section, you just know how to act better. You'll know that you know what I shouldn't run my cards up. So you'll know not to run your cards up, or at least not to revolve them. Okay.
Right.
If you have a $5,000 account, I don't care if you put 5 grand on it. Just don't revolve it. Don't carry it in the next month. Okay.
Hmm.
You'll know that by the time you're done with me. You'll know not to get any late payments. Why? Because that's something that's the first conversation we had. All right. So you'll know that. Those two things are 35% and 30% of your score. If you just handle those two things, the rest of your score is going to take care of itself. To be honest with you, all right. You're going to know not to go around. You're going to tell the car conversation, so you're going to know not to go get a billion inquiries, and you're going to know how to handle things. All right, that's 10% of your score. Age of credit, that's something that handles by itself. That's about 15% of your score. All right, that grows on its own. Will I give you a tip or two maybe on how you can add that together? Maybe I'll give you an authorized user conversation. Sure, but that really grows as your rest of your credit grows. That grows in time. Okay. If you just handle mix of credit, you're going to automatically change your mix of credit. That's 10% of your score. That's going to happen as you grow. When you get a mortgage versus a car loan versus a credit card. Okay. You're going to know all the aspects that build up your credit score when you graduate from me, or when I graduate you back to your lender or your realtor. All right. So you'll know that. So I have a very low, I hate to use it in jail terms, but I have a very low rate of recidivity. Nobody comes back unless it's because they're bringing referrals to me. All right.
Your
Um,
entry.
I get calls from people 3 years ago. Hey, man, such and so and so. We're talking about business deals. We're not talking about bad credit. All right.
Right.
So how do we keep you from messing up in the future? By giving you the knowledge in the first place. All right. That's it. Giving you the knowledge and keeping you motivated.
Right. Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, listen, guys, again, if you want to see Drew live in action, again, on March 9th, we have the Ultimate Home Buying Masterclass. Sign up now. Tickets are moving fast. All right. And we do have a limited amount of seats. There's going to be door prizes, raffles. It's
Mhm.
going to be food and drinks. So you definitely want to RSVP right now, okay? Because you don't want to be left out in the cold. www.buyinginphilly.com. I'm going to have an expert from every step in the home buying process, every step in the home buying process. So we'll teach you the entire home buying process. But even after, if there's something that you didn't understand, or there's something that you want more clarity on, you'll have the residential expert in the house to ask him whatever you need, man. Drew, where can people follow you at or find you at?
Well, I think it's down there. First, I'm pretty easy to find on Facebook. I think Drew Smith. That's it. The most plain name possible. On Instagram, Drew the FICO Pro. Um, I'll drop that. I guess when we come out to the thing, I'll drop down a link or something like that. But I've got an actual walk-in office, and if you're ever in scenic Trenton, New Jersey, you can walk in just like this guy did earlier today. I'm one of the very few people that do credit repair where you can literally walk in and have a seat, and we can have a conversation. All right, that's something. That's another thing that sets us apart. All right, you get a physical person that you can sit right here face to face to explain things to you. A lot of times people need that. Okay. But yeah, Facebook, Drew Smith, Instagram, Drew FICO Pro. Okay.
Drew Farco.
Um, and you know what? I think I'll even do this extra for the event. Would it help out if I was able to pull reports for people right then and there? You think that'd be a nice
Yeah,
add-on for some people? All right.
definitely.
We'll throw that in too, man. I'll even be doing consultations for you if you show up. So you have no reason
Okay.
not to show up now.
Okay, credit reports. Get able to get your credit ran at the event. Again, it's March 9th, which is a Saturday, starting at one
Hmm.
o'clock. And again, it's in Northern Liberty. So even if you don't have a car, you could take the L down there, get off at Spring Garden, and walk up. It's near there. Okay, it's near the train stop. So whether you're in Jersey, whether you're in Delaware, hey, come up and hang out in Philly for the day.
Hmm.
Go to the master class, get the knowledge, and then go back to where you're going to. Again, www.buyinginphilly.com, y'all. All right, y'all. It's been a pleasure. Drew, thanks for coming on, dropping a
Appreciate it.
bunch of gems for these cats. And listen, man, this is Colin Nathan, the real estate boy. If you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate, I got you. All right, y'all. Until the next time.
Appreciate it.